Immigrants who relocated into Australia from less developed countries were warmly welcomed into Australia. Australian citizens treated them well, and even the Australian government treated them as it will just treat its normal citizens. But a few years later, they are banning the Australian flag. They are disrespecting Australia, and the government of the day is silent about it. If anything, it's even defending them. Let's have this uncomfortable conversation.
You have an update on these two boys, right? Or girls, we don't know who they are, right? They were actually questioned by the police when they did it, but they were let go. So after the police identified who these two people were, they let them go. Now the one thing we know is if they were pro-Palestine supporters, or if they were, Arab, they would go straight to jail. This would be on the news. Their faces would be out and open, just like the guy that did the synagogue burning, right? But they never gave us their identities. They didn't arrest them. They did nothing about it. And there's only one reason why. Because we all know the Melbourne police stand with the Zionist state, and they'll make the excuse. It's for public interest that people don't know Zionists are causing problems and are burning our flags.
No one else will say it. I'll be the fucking one. I don't give a shit if someone burns the Australian flag. If someone burns some material that was likely mass-produced in a Chinese factory, right? That's not going to upset me emotionally, because any pride I have in this imagined nationhood of Australia is not tied to a fucking piece of material in the first place. But I'm assuming you're actually talking about the symbolization, not the material, right? And what it means for people to burn that from a symbolic standpoint. But for context, I should point out I've never been more fucking ashamed to be Australian in this moment of time, and that's not because of any Aussie flag being burnt. It's the response to it coming from a white possessive logic of people who took it upon themselves to feel so emotionally about this material being burned in the first place. The Union Jack in the first place and the Australian flag symbolises the British colonisation, including the invasion of Indigenous land, still not giving sovereignty to the original landholders, the Indigenous people, ignoring the 100,000 plus year history of their culture in the first place. Flag represents violence. It represents stolen land. It represents forced assimilation. It represents never giving true sovereignty to the original landowners, etc. I'm not fucking proud of that flag in the first place.
Nobody hates immigrants in the first place, and nobody is racist to immigrants. And if at all there's a human being that hates another human being just because he or she is an immigrant, or if at all they just hate you because of the color of your skin, then that is very bad, and that person should be held accountable, or probably even get punished for that.
I have never once said that I want immigrants to be deported. I've never once said that I hate immigrants. Are you fucking kidding? I'm just saying, let's slow down that immigration. Let's fix our country first. We need to stand together. I don't hate immigrants. I hate what the government is doing. I don't give a fuck what race you are. If you live in Australia and you love Australia and you assimilate to our culture, why can't we all stand together?
We've had enough of seeing international people coming in here, getting paid by our taxpayers' money to live here, to study here. They get our rentals, they get our jobs, and I've got nothing against immigration if it's controlled and if it's managed properly. All the while, every single weekend, we have thousands and thousands of people protesting for another country across the other side of the world that no one cares that Australia is even protesting for. Nothing is going to change in those countries because Australians are protesting. And then at the same events, they burn the Australian flag, and it's terrible.
You might not know this, but Australia is ranked as one of the least racist countries in the world. According to racial equality rankings, we're 12th, while New Zealand is the least racist country overall. But here's where it gets interesting. Whenever I talk about migration, the comment section lights up with some unique perspectives. Recently, I posted a light-hearted offer for Democrats to flee Trump by moving to Australia. Sounds harmless, right? Well, the backlash was intense. We're full, we don't want them. Wait, white Americans, specifically Democrats, aren't welcome in supposedly racist Australia, and these are the same Democrats preaching diversity, equity and inclusion, right? The ones supporting open border policies. So why all the outrage? Well, it turns out the issue isn't racism, it's housing. Aussies aren't anti-migrant, they're anti-housing crisis. With skyrocketing property prices and no rental availability, the frustration isn't about who is coming, but the strain on the housing supply. And here's the kicker. Australia's immigration program is mostly bringing in unskilled workers. So they're not taking jobs, just houses. Imagine if the program was effective and they were taking both. Here's some global perspective from the World Population Review Racial Equality Rankings. The USA was down the bottom at 73rd, India 66, China 57th, UK 16, Ireland 10, Canada 2nd, and Saudi, Iran and Russia were much lower. So if you're experiencing racism in Australia, statistically, it's probably coming from a migrant. Have a great day.
In the recent few months, there have been so many protests in Australia. And remember, these are protests that have nothing to do with Australians or the Australian governments. We've seen pro-Palestine protests in Australia. And these are protests that have seen these immigrants burning the Australian flag. That is disrespect to a country. And on 31st of August, patriotic Australians went to the street protesting against all this disrespect that is going on, protesting against a government that was taking them as second-class citizens, a government that is prioritizing the needs of immigrants over the needs of its people. The protests were not against immigrants, but they were against uncontrolled immigration. And I can tell you for a fact that the immigration in Australia is uncontrolled, because Australians claim that the number of people in Australia has superseded the number that the housing system in Australia can accommodate, and yet the government is still quiet about it.
Why do you have that on you? It's a white supremacist. That is a white supremacist thing. I'm a yes, it is. I'm a historian. Okay, I'm a historian by trade. You need to take it off. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Instagram as well. I've seen you wearing it several times. This is the last time I'm coming here because I'm actually moving the area. It is a white supremacist thing. Look up the thin blue line on Google and actually read into it. Thank you.
Oh my God, bring back common sense. So proudly being Australian and wearing the Australian flag on your uniform is classed as white supremacy. What a fucking moron to actually think that that is a racist symbol, the Australian flag. A quick Google search will show you that that thin blue line means solidarity with law enforcement and police. God forbid people are proud to be Australian these days. That's how far our country has fallen in this clown world.
When the pro-Palestine protests were held in Australia, there was totally no counter-protest. No Australian protested against those pro-Palestine protesters. But on 31st of August, when patriotic Australians went to the streets to walk for their country, there was a whole lot of individuals on the street protesting against the Walk for Australia. Having mentioned that, it's evident and it's definite that there's a problem in Australia. And that is exactly what we're going to elaborate in this video.
Two mass rallies collide in the city centre. Outnumbered and under pressure, police officers caught in the middle. Thousands turning out, despite Premier Jacinta Allen condemning the march, labelling it un-Australian.
So you think
Despite a blockade of police, rival protesters came head to head.
You definitely know what my thoughts are and you're hearing my thoughts. I would also like to know what your thoughts are concerning this whole topic. Please share with me what you think about this whole topic in the comment section, and I will be really glad to read what your thoughts are in the comment section. So without wasting any time, let's get straight to the video. And if at all you'll find this video interesting or insightful, then please give it a thumbs up, and also consider supporting this channel through subscribing to the channel, or also you can support the channel through my Buy Me a Coffee link, which is in the description box, and also even you can opt into the channel's membership, and there you will see what we have to offer.
18 pro-Palestinian activists have been arrested over a blockade at the Port of Melbourne. Several of the protesters handcuffed themselves to the entrance gate of the terminal, stopping container trucks and causing significant disruption. Shipping companies companies supplying materials to Israel were the target. They've all been granted bail to appear in court at a later date.
Now, this is a problem that is not just happening in Australia, it's also happening in Canada. In Canada, we've seen Indians burn the Canadian flag. In Canada, we've seen Muslims burning the Canadian flag. We've also seen it in the UK. And in the UK, we've seen pro-Palestine protesters burning the Union Jack. We've seen them burn even the American flag. And most of these governments are quiet about it. Americans are lucky enough that President Donald Trump has the ICE, or rather ICE as they call it, deporting all these immigrants who have gone there illegally. And this is just to curb the illegal immigration or the uncontrolled immigration crisis. Basically, all first world countries have an immigrant crisis at the moment as we speak right now. Most immigrants move from third world countries and go into these first world countries, and they carry with them their behaviors from third world countries. They carry with them their third world behaviors, and on reaching in these first world countries, they refuse to adjust to the first world behaviors, to the first world norms. They want to carry with them the disrespect that is failing their states and that is failing their countries. We've seen that in Canada, whereby Canadians have problems with the Indians who have just refused to conform with the land's policies or with the laws governing the land. So this has really been a problem in Canada, and it's not just a problem in Australia. It's not just a problem in America. It's not just a problem in the UK. It's a problem across all first world countries, and something needs to be done as soon as possible. Because at this rate, these immigrants may just drag the first world countries to a level close to these third world countries or the countries that they have left. Something needs to be done, and these governments of these respective first world countries should really be keen. And another thing, the immigrants are not to be blamed for all that's going on. I mean, something like lack of jobs, that is a global problem, and I'd say that jobs are inadequate. Even if you move to another country, even if you go to Netherlands, it's still a problem. So I wouldn't want us to think that it's a problem being caused by immigrants. Rather, it's something that the government is just using immigrants as a scapegoat. I think if at all the government would be a good government, then it would have done something about it already. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. Please tell me what your thoughts are about this whole video in the comment section, and I'll be really glad to read them out. I usually try to reply to most of the comments, if not all of them, but I do read all of them.
What do you guys think about mass immigration into Australia?
Fucking deport them all. Deport them all.
Feeling proud of Australia?
Yeah, absolutely. Something's happening. This is crazy. So many people. The energy is, it's just electric. Everyone's so pumped.
We have to stop immigration and become a nation once again.
Some people here support the march and some people don't, and some people don't even know what's going on.
Well, there you have it, and I hope that this video has been truly insightful. It has been a very difficult video to do, and it is a very difficult conversation. It's a very uncomfortable conversation, but I am grateful for this, and I know that it's through such videos and such uncomfortable conversations that we can spark change. It's through having such uncomfortable conversations that we can have the government act. So please, let's have the conversation going. Don't kill the conversation. Let's talk about it. Let's keep on conversing in the comment section, and yeah, hopefully we'll get to see some change in due time. Otherwise, that's it from me. I'd like to thank all my loyal viewers for the constant support that they have been giving this channel. Thank you so much, and I hope to be seeing you in the next video.